with a burning flame this morning. We cooled it down when we had Ms. Eckford share her story with us. We celebrated our fellow colleagues just now with the Excellence in Diversity Awards presentation. And after that crescendo, we're now getting ready to head back on. When the first concept of this year's theme came about, the question was not only what do we want to share, but what do we want to learn? I do think, however, that premise was somewhat faulty in the sense that we thought once we were on stage, we would be instructional. What I don't think we realize is that dialogue would be so enriching, so edifying, and so enlightening that it would not only help the field, but also help us to help you. One of the recurring themes from our discussions as we went through the different types of sessions we had was one of trust. Do we trust our policies? Do we trust our processes? Do we trust our leaders? Do we trust our teams? I want to ask you all, or challenge you all, do you trust yourselves? Because if you think about it, agency, individual agency, is really what you all have in your roles as change agents within your states, within your individual offices and capacity. What does that mean? How does it connect to the mission? And how do we practically apply it? Those are the questions and the dialectics that we struggle with on an ongoing basis as we evolve our practices, as we evolve our understanding of what diversity and inclusion is. But if you looked at the theme, there are two active words there I want to draw your attention to: configuring and sustaining. It is an enduring journey, as we all know. What I want to challenge you to think about is as we configure, we reimagine, reconfigure, adapt, customize, because no one cookie-cutter type solution fits all. What we can think about, however, is through our innovation, how do we sustain our configurations as not only the Guard evolves, but as our nation evolves? Because we are a microcosm of our society, right? So, shifting gears and looking at some of the things we're doing, it gives us a chance to pause and recognize, but also realize that just as much work as we have done to bring us to this point, much more needs to be done, right? And sometimes we are our most challenging taskmasters in the sense that when we are all gathered as practitioners of the craft, we tend to surface what we don't have. Remember what Mr. Johnson said in terms of that deficit-driven approach. I want to challenge everyone to think about a strengths-based approach. Look around. This is our collective strength. And that's the question that I would hope we would keep asking ourselves and kind of practicing that conscious self-regulation just to make sure that we are still on track. This was an opportunity to see the approaches from the national level, the different, I'll call it different styles or perspectives on how we are trying to implement and going about implementing and institutionalizing D&I throughout the Guard. And these approaches are definitely up for modification, but they're also scalable, and replicable. What I would love to see is an energized spirit within the room that would not only reflect our confidence in the fact that we're doing what we should be doing, but our confidence in the fact that we really do have leadership support to get it done. And although we may have processes and practices, we're also going to have to develop some policies to make sure that we can sustain whatever changes we put in place to make them enduring. And one final thought. In Ghana, has anyone ever heard of a griot? A griot is a storyteller. And I had the fortune of meeting an old Ghanaian griot. And this is something that they would teach, I'll say, the younger ones in the community. The elders would teach the younger ones. And I would like to ask you all to indulge me in this exercise. For those of you who were here last year, it's not as energetic, but hopefully it'll be just as much fun. So I'm going to be a little bit divisive. I'd like this side of the room. You're going to sing something. It's not too long. It's "We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For." We are the ones we've been waiting for, okay? Higher range, this side, same thing. We are the ones we've been waiting for, all right? So let me see if the voice will work. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting. Y'all didn't do bad. Woo. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Come on. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Keep it going. We are the ones. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones. Okay, that was rehearsal. Yes, sir, I see you, General Neal. You were getting into it. So, one more indulgence. Could we all stand, and give this a shot? And thank you for being so trusting. All right. Lower range on 1, 2, 3, hit it. We are the ones. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the ones. We are the ones we've been waiting. Higher range, bring it in. We are the ones we've been waiting for. 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 One more. We are the ones we've been waiting for. Woo! Thank you all. Sir.
Please take your seats. We got 5 more minutes or so, and then we'll dismiss the JDEC meeting. Andrea, stay up here, please. So you've got to know that there's been an army of one that has been working, right, Ms. Colvin, for the most part? I mean, she's had support. You've supported her, and other people have come to the rescue. But really, the project officer for this great workshop has been, or has fallen to Andrea. And my goodness, this is an intelligent, vivacious, passionate, hugely capable and talented person that has come to our family, and we're blessed beyond measure to have her in our ranks. So Andrea, also on behalf of everybody here, would like to present you with this coin as a way of, for all of us to say thank you so much. for loving us. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and it didn't take an inordinate amount of trust either. It's because it was built, developed along the way.
There was a lot of foundation laid, Shirley, by a lot of good people, including yourself and others, Mr. Durr, Ms. Copeland, and in his absence, Ms. Ramos. Thanks to the Air and Army side as well, our contract employees, everybody that has worked so hard to make this workshop happen so you can benefit and we can benefit in exchange. So a couple of things. One, everybody here is so welcome to be here, knowing that you have a busy schedule, demands on your time, and for you to carve out the time for you to travel and be here and then have to go back. It's a lot. It's a big expenditure. But I have to say that there's a category in here that it's that much harder. And maybe because I've been in that category, but there are 2 adjutants general here that have spent the entire time with us. They've been involved, engaged in the conversation. They've been here to mentor us, to help us, to add to the dialogue. General Rice, General Howell, I wanted to say a special shout out to both of you. You're leading from the front. We admire you and appreciate you more than we could say. Let's give our adjutants general a big hand. Did I miss a tag? What tag did I miss? General Dean, did I miss you, sir, all this time? Would you accept my apology? I'm very sorry, sir. We haven't spoken a lick since we've been here, I think. Sir, thank you for being here, and my apologies for neglecting you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Gee, I might have to stop before I get myself in more hot water. But there are assistant adjutants general here. There's senior enlisted leaders. There's SEAMs. There's HRAs, HROs, and all the rest of you. Thank you for being champions in doing what is really right for keeping good care of our people. Thank you so much. So here's what I have to say, and then we'll wrap this up and dismiss to our JDEC breakouts. Out of many, one. So the melting pot may not have been the best analogy. Maybe it's a salad. Maybe it's a stew. Maybe it's a beautiful tapestry with all these beautiful colors and textures that end up in the aggregate being this great masterpiece that we can all admire. What it all adds up to is this tremendous diversity that we've been experiencing during this workshop and we experienced back home makes for a wonderful nation that we can call our own and be proud of. With all these differences that we have, we're still united with respect for individual freedoms, the rule of law, free markets, and human rights, and all the other things that make this an exceptional nation. There are large caravans of people that are trying to come here. I don't see a lot of caravans trying to get out of the United States. It's really the land of opportunity, a special place that all of you, I know, share this with me, and we share this in common. With all our respective differences, we love this land. We know there's issues. We know there's problems. We know we can get better. We know there's deep scars. A lot of your ancestors came here in the slaves of cargo ships, slave ships, a horrible wound that still bleeds today in many cases. Our Native Americans, our first Americans, excuse me, Mr. Garceau, it's a good term. I like it better. You know, they were decimated by diseases that they had no immunity to when the Europeans came. They were forced off their ancestral lands or put in reservations, lots of things. The Trail of Tears, it happened in New Mexico also. We have these scars, these things that cause us pain and grief and anguish, and we wish it wasn't so. But now we have a responsibility. We can never pay back all of these things that have happened before us. We have to pay it forward. And so that's why you're here, is so that we can find a better way to give our leaders the tools and the education to uncover their unconscious bias, to give them the emotional intelligence so that they understand how to be more inclusive in their leadership style, to move our troops from a lower level of motivation just out of fear of rewards and punishments, or because they need a job, or they have to pay back a loan, or they have a commitment, over to the period of or the area where they're intrinsically motivated. They're really doing what they want to do because they want to do it. And so all of these things make for a good investment of your time, our energy, and our focus as leaders. So with that, I will give you one last salute. We'll keep in touch one way or another so that we can move forward together and make this an even better place than what we were given by those that went before. So with that, God bless you all. It's been an honor to be here with you. You ready? Dismiss him?